All right, we're back. It's Spencer.Leamer with Realogic Sotheby's International Realty and Tom Goldsmith at Guild Mortgage, back for another week of real estate in the Seattle Metro. And we're just going to jump right into it today. Going to look at King County stats only. You get the picture. Everything kind of emanates out of King County anyways. So let's pop in the screen share over to the browser. There we go. Check. There we go. Okay. So since July on condo inventory, we're up about 8.5%, up 142% on the inventory since last quarter.
Wow.
Yeah. And, sales pendings down. If you take a look at the for sale prices, average active price is down about 3% and down 4.9% on the average sold price. So we're hitting that 5%, price adjustment on in July. You're still up about 9% on the active sale price average and 12% on the sold price average. That's year to date. Now, if you were to go back to last quarter, you'd be actually down almost 16% on the active condo price and up about 2% on the sold price. So still up for the quarter. And this is just to speak to your long-term investment in real estate. If you were to go back 15 years on a condo, on average, you'd be up about 91% on your investment.
Wow, so, that's a great return.
There you go on the condos.
Hey, Spencer, you mentioned we're still up about 16% since the beginning of the year. Do you know what it is year over year? Is that on your sheet?
I could probably figure it out, but
that's okay.
Current versus same quarter 1 year ago, you're looking at a average sold of about 12.4% increase.
Yeah, so even with the decrease of 5%, we're still year over year up over 12%. Yeah. That's amazing.
Still amazing. Current versus same month to date a year ago, up 5.1% on the average sold price.
Nice.
Yeah. Still a seller's market, obviously. Months of inventory for the month of July were up about 32, almost 33% to about 2 months, versus the current, versus the previous month to date, which was about 1.5, up 32% on the year and 91% of months of inventory versus the previous quarter. So yeah, big time. Still about, what are you looking at here? Up 66% on inventory, current versus same month to date a year ago, and up 30% versus last year's quarter, same quarter, and down 56% versus 15 years ago. If you were to look at the same 12-month period a year ago, we're still down about 50% on months of inventory. So still seller's market. That's what it is for condos. Now going over to single family homes, you got a similar story. We've got about up 6.6% on the homes for sale, 7/1 to 7/26 today, or yesterday, sorry. Down 25% on the solds and up about down 1.5% on the sales. So still way up on inventory for the quarter. Solds and pendings are kind of following that. So
Yeah.
you see the usual kind of trend cycles here for the year.
It's just stabilizing.
Yep. You come down here to percent of list price. You're about 103% about a month ago, and now you're about 98% on average of the list price. So sale price down not even a percentage point versus the previous month. Still up about 15% year to date, and average sold price for current versus last quarter up 7.3%, and same time a year ago still up about 15%, and 15 years ago you'd be up 113% versus 15 years ago. So pretty good return on your investment out here in King County. Days on market, 2 months of supply up about 42% versus last month. We're tracking the whole month of July here now almost. And 159% versus last quarter, still down about 161% versus a year ago. Or sorry, up 161% versus a year ago. Current month to date versus month to date a year ago, July of last year, we're up 240%.
Wow.
On the months of inventory versus July of last year.
Wow.
So, whoa.
Well, again, just
but normal. When you go from nothing to something, it's going to look like that.
It's going to look like that, yeah.
What are mortgages doing?
Mortgages are having so much fun. It's a wonderful, wonderful time. No, it's if you follow the news, today is Wednesday, July 27th. And today's the day the Fed looked to raise short-term interest rates, which they did today at 11 o'clock Pacific time. They raised the short-term interest rates by 0.75, so 0.75%.
They didn't go one.
Which, okay, they're doing it to attack inflation, keep inflation in check. And like I've explained before, the short-term interest rates aren't mortgage rates. Okay. So what we're actually seeing, and everyone anticipated they were going to raise those rates. Mm-hmm. And so we saw the market in turmoil last week, just trying to fight that. But usually what happens is when we see short-term rates jump like that, you're going to see the markets approve because emotionally the investors like that, even though nobody wants to see the short-term rates go up for your credit cards and your equity lines and things like that. But all the investors are like, okay, this is great. It's attacking inflation. So what did we see? The Dow Jones was up about 70 points this morning. Now, last time I looked, it was up over 400. And that all came after the announcement of the Fed's rate hike. We're also seeing an improvement in mortgage bonds, which normally when you see that improvement or the yield on the bond market comes down, usually that pulls mortgage rates with it. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen a midday price change on the mortgage rates. But in the last day or so, we've seen them come down just a little bit. I just locked somebody this morning at right under 6%. So 5.875, where a week ago, I probably would have locked them at 6 1/4 or even 6 3/8. So they've come down, 3/8 of a point or something like that. So yeah, we're depending on your credit score, your down payment, that sort of thing. These people are putting, 30% down, and great credit scores, that sort of thing. So I was able to get them 5.875% on their mortgage. They were very happy with that. Again, we're seeing a slip in mortgage applications, which means fewer people, which again is a wonderful opportunity for people who are getting off the fence and getting out there to make an offer on a home. I had two purchase and sale contracts come in this week. In both cases, it was just like they made an offer, accepted, just like that. No other offers, just accept it. And we'll be ready to close it in less than 3 weeks. Even though both transactions have close dates out like 30 days, we'll be done in 2.5 weeks.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. And I'm really, I'm really enjoying hearing the enthusiasm of the clients who are not afraid of the interest rates, because they know this is the new normal, and they get a house, they lock a rate. If rates continue to go up, they're protected. If rates come down substantially, we just turn around and we refinance them, and then we lower their monthly payment, but they're getting in the house. So, and a lot of people are getting that, and they understand, and they're out there, they're looking hard, and boy, they see something they like, they just go after it. And there's a lot more to choose from now.
Yeah, so much more to choose from. It's important to remember that we're not in real estate. We're not treating real estate as a short-term investment. Real estate is a long-term investment. Minimum 5 to 7 years, you should be in that thing. That's the statistical average.
Right.
But if you can be in it longer, maybe turn it into an investment property after you move out of it. And if you don't have to sell that to buy your next thing, that would be even better. Because statistics tell us that people who own real estate generally have a much larger net worth than folks who don't. So get out there and take advantage of this market that we haven't seen for at least 2 or 3 years now.
Hey, let me touch on something real quick on rent versus buying. Some people don't break this down enough, but they should. You were just going over those numbers in Redmond. Let's just take a 2-bedroom place, and the rent on it is $2,300. Okay. Let's just call it $2,300. And you buy a new home, and let's say the mortgage payment's $2,700, and that includes property taxes, homeowners insurance, the whole shebang. Well, okay, yes, you're paying a few $100s more in your mortgage than you were paying in rent. Okay, now fast forward 10 years. Let's say you're paying $2,700 for your mortgage. What are you going to be paying in that mortgage in 10 years? $2,700. $2,700. Now, if you're renting today for $2,300 in 10 years, what are you going to be paying for rent? Probably over $3,000.
Likely.
Yeah. So, the fact is that even if you get into a home and your mortgage payment's a little bit higher than the rent, 10 years from now, unless you refinance and lower your payment, which you can do if the rates go down, your payment stays the same. You still pay that same payment. Where if you're renting, your rent's going to keep going up and up and up and up and up. So it's just, if you can just get into a house right now, it's so important. And, not only are you keeping that same monthly payment, but then, like we touched on, 10 years from now, that house is, who knows how much the growth is going to go. We never predicted the appreciation through the pandemic. Nobody could have predicted that. So anyway, just wanted to touch on the rent versus buy thing. It's really important to get out and try and buy something and quit throwing money away at rent.
100%. Take advantage of the tax.
Oh yeah.
Tax advantage.
That's right. Tax write-off on your property taxes and the interest you pay on your mortgage.
Yeah. Can't do
Those
that.
things you can write off your income tax. But I'm not a CPA. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah. Disclaimer. Call your tax professional. This is not financial advice.
No. Just making a comparison.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, look at this Redmond, or just, you know, 1 bedroom condo
2012.
10 years ago, 2012. Uh, let's just take Seattle, for example, because that's a better example. $198,000 and to today, $415,000. So you've more than doubled your investment.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's just 10 years.
Yeah, just
In a
over double
condo.
your investment in a condo, a 1 bedroom condo, which is way tougher to sell than a 2 bedroom condo.
Absolutely.
I want to talk about Redmond real quick.
Yeah,
Tom,
love Redmond.
how familiar are you with Redmond?
Very familiar with Redmond. Redmond's come a long way. Of course, with the addition of Microsoft back in the late 80s and early 90s, it helped Redmond to explode. When I was a child, Redmond was just the place where we used to buy hay for our horses.
Now, now there's not a hay to be found.
It was funny. You go down into Redmond and there's Cleveland Street, and you go along, and I remember Gossard Lumber on the right, and across the street was this big silver metal building which just had bales of hay in it, and we go down there with the truck and we load up, and literally that silver building, which is about where if you know where the what's the restaurant there, the Tipsy Cow.
Yeah.
Across the street from there is about where that silver shed was, and literally beyond that there was nothing. There was just nothing. It was just tall grass. And so yeah, Redmond's come a long way, and now it's just a wonderful place to live, with great commerce, great school district in the Lake Washington School District. It's a great spot.
Yeah. Incredible. Incorporated December 31st, 1912. You can believe that was a while ago.
Yeah, there used to be, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're
There's a
good.
little bit more history lesson for Redmond. This was way before I was born, but there's a guy I met through my dad, who used to take a horse-drawn carriage back and forth twice a day from Redmond to Kirkland, across the old Redmond, they call it the old Redmond Road, which is like Northeast 70th. And he would just go back and forth twice a day on this.
That's a decent hill.
Yeah,
going up there.
Yeah, it's the old Redmond Road. They just had it kind of zigzagging up that hill, and he would do that, and it was basically a bus service from Redmond to Kirkland or back. It was, but anyway, my dad, when I was a kid, my dad introduced me to that guy, and he was about 90 years old. And anyway, just a little history of Redmond.
Yeah, you got the Eastern Railway that ran out there.
Yeah.
First plat for Redmond was filed in May 11, 1891. First plat. And then 1950s, 60s, they started annexing a lot of the little towns and stuff around Redmond. You've got, used to have lumber mills out there. Agriculture was, as you said, the primary industry out there. Now it's Microsoft.
Yeah.
That's the most major employer out there. And then you've got all these little, companies and around that. But Nintendo is based out of Redmond. That's cool. Climate in Redmond. What can you expect for climate in Redmond? Let's take a look at that real quick. Really mild climate, just like you'd see everywhere else. Highs in the 80s, maybe 90s. We're hitting the 90s right now in July, but usually you get about 3 weeks of that in the summertime. And then, lows in the 30s and 40s in the wintertime, about, maybe 50s during the day. And then you got a few weeks of like super duper cold snap, maybe even some snow for a week or two in the wintertime. You got some cool stuff happening in Redmond. You've got the downtown Redmond Link extension, which should be open in 2024 with an asterisk because, project delays and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going from the Redmond or the Microsoft campus there into literally right next to Cleveland Street there, downtown Redmond. You go down there right now, you see where they're building the station, the tracks. They're starting to lay track and all that down there. So that's cool. Yeah, that's part of this expansion from Seattle and the I-5 corridor. So what kind of projects do we have going on in Redmond right now? Got quite a bit. 223 active construction projects, and that could be anything from somebody building a single family home on a single lot to multi, 200-300 unit, mixed use complexes. Then you've got another 375 almost in design or under review right now. So a lot in the pipeline for Redmond. And you'll see that, you've got a lot of these mixed use. Here's a 217 unit, 8-story mixed use building going on 80th and 164th. This major expansion here on Northeast Main Street and 152nd over in the Overlake neighborhood, which is kind of over by Microsoft, kind of in that area. So some cool stuff planned over there. You've got, cycle tracks, bike trails that they're building. Alexan at Marymore, another 222 unit multifamily residential development. And they've got some new landlord tenant protection laws out there in Redmond. So if you've got a rental out there, take a look at those. Another hotel. That's the Anderson Park Hotel. And more stuff. Lots more stuff for Redmond.
Wow,
yeah, they got a lot going on. If you go to experienceredmond.com, that is a cool visitor site where they've got all the big events, what you can expect when you visit Redmond, where to stay, where to eat, where to play, all that good stuff. You do every year in the summertime, you've got the Marymore Grand Prix out there at Marymore Park. And you've got some cool, if you're into cycling or bicycles, something to check out there in Redmond. You've got really the whole month of August, they've got a variety of cycling events out there in Redmond.
They've got that velodrome out there too.
And that is the only one in the nation.
What?
That I understand.
Wow.
Or no, sorry, Washington State.
Oh.
Only one in the state. Yeah. No, that one. Only velodrome in the state.
Yeah, it's cool too.
Yeah, pretty cool. And they do Cirque du Soleil sets their tent up there in Marymore Park when they come to town. And we actually I volunteer for the car show that happens at Redmond Town Center, which is a pretty cool event. Always draws hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people.
Is that a weekly thing?
That's a weekly car event, yeah. So they do about 5 special events a year where they'll pack the center of the mall. It's an outdoor mall. They'll pack the center of the mall with all the really, really, really cool stuff. And we have about 7 lot rows out in front of BJ's restaurant that's right there.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll pack that full too. And then, yeah, it's weekly, rain permitting.
Right.
Don't get a big turnout when, it costs $1,000 to go detail your car afterwards.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Got a lot of artist stuff. Blake Lewis is from Redmond.
Yeah. James Dewitt Scotty from Star Trek, but he passed away, unfortunately.
Yeah, he sure did. Jeff Cirillo Redmond resident, one of the lead vocalists for Sleater Kinney, if you're into that, and some other people. Northern Exposure was actually filmed in a soundstage that used to be in Redmond. And these are some of the hotels that you can stay at. The Archer is one of the newest ones. They're right by the Redmond Town Center. Super nice hotel.
I've never been in there.
Very nice. I've talked to some people that have stayed in it, and they love it. Love it.
Cool.
So
I'll check that out.
Yeah, if you're staying in the area, definitely go check out the Archer. Yeah, you got like movies in the park, iPic Theater, Symphony, all sorts of events. Go to experienceredmond.com and check that out.
Oh, that's
all
neat.
Sorts of cool stuff.
Didn't even know that was there, but that's it's great to know.
Yeah. Let's check out home prices in Redmond. If you were looking for a 1-bedroom single family home, you would expect to pay somewhere median of about $945,000.
Wow.
For a 1-bedroom. Now, if you 2-bedroom is right around $1 million right now. And 3-bedroom, 1.25 million. You can see as the graph loads here, just kind of how appreciation's worked over the years. This is going back 15 years again, just like that other one.
Mm-hmm.
And 4-bedroom will hit you that $1.8 million. Million. Still not quite catching up with Bellevue. It's up there nonetheless.
Yeah.
Now, condos, on the other hand, a 1-bedroom condo in Redmond is going to set you back about $380,000.
Yeah, there we go.
So 1-bedroom or less, there's your ticket right there to get you into Redmond. 2-bedroom, $575,000. You can see appreciation on condos out there in Redmond, not super aggressive like you do see single family homes. And that's due to the fact that there's really just not a lot of condos out there. So 3-bedroom condo.
Still appreciating though.
Still appreciating slightly. Still is like up 20%. Oh, and this is 3 years. There we go. That's why it's not. User error. There you go. I'm going to load. 3-bedroom condo, $850,000, big ones. And that's up from, let's say, 2012, $286,000 to $850,000.
That's amazing.
In a 20-year or a 10-year time span there.
And that's a condo.
That's a condo. That is pretty good. Probably not a lot of 4-bedroom condos. Yeah, 1.26 million. The graph's going to look kind of jerky because there's probably like 3.
Right.
But yeah, that's what you're looking at for home prices there in the Redmond area currently. Let's look at rents. So and this is condos, for 1-bed, average rent's going to be about $2,350, give or take 3% on that. 2-bed, $3,000 even, and 3 and 4-bed, there's just not enough data for rent. I use rentometer.com. Yeah. Pretty good little site. And on the high side, you'd expect to pay for 1-bed, somewhere around $2,700 a month, and $27 to $32 for a 2-bed per month.
Might as well buy
on condo. And looking at single family house rentals in the area, don't have too much to choose from here until you get into a 3-bed situation. Sample sizes are pretty small for 1 and 2 bed, but average rent for 1-bed single family is going to set you back about $1,800 a month and $2,400 a month on the 2-bed. Now, once you jump into 3-bed, it jumps pretty sharply up to about $3,200-$3,300 a month and $3,900 a month on average for a 4-bed single family. Now, on the high side for a 1-bedroom single family rental, expect to pay somewhere around $2,150, $2,668 for a 2-bed, and $4,100 around there for a 3-bed, $5,000 for a 4-bed rental. So that's what we're looking at for rentals in the Redmond area. And just a quick look at some demographic information from the census data. Median age is 34.5 years.
Young.
About a 50-50 split on the male-female situation. And 5.8% people below the poverty line. So per capita income is about 66,000. Median household income about 132,000, and pretty car dependent out there in Redmond. While you do have bus lines and things out there, most people are driving about 30 minutes to work, according to this study. And you got about 30,000 households out there. Like I said, there's about 2.5 people per household. Most of those are married couples. And marital status is about 62% of the people out that live in Redmond or claim to live in Redmond. Got about 50% owner occupied out in Redmond, according to this study. And most of those are going to be either multi-unit, about 53% single family unit. And you can see this information is way off. For median home price of $788,000. This data is not super up to date, so you probably expect a little bit higher growth in these numbers if you were to go to the previous or the current year. Languages you would expect to hear out here in Redmond: English, obviously. Some Asian specific languages, and Spanish, and probably some Russian.
A little bit of Indian in there as well.
And Indian as well, yeah. It's Indo-European.
Indo-European, yeah.
Yeah, 15%. Asian continent, 17%. And foreign-born population is mostly from Asia, about 73%. You got about 13% from Europe, and 7% from Latin America, and 4% from North America, and 3% from Africa. Cool. So let's look now at here's Redmond, and here's what you'd expect for grocery stores. You've got QFC all over the place, Safeway, Target, Fred Meyer. You've got a Whole Foods out there. It's got some high quality organic stuff. You even got a Trader Joe's down there off Redmond Way. Now for hospitals, you've got Swedish, you've got Interlake up here off of 520, and then Overlake over here off of 405. And then you got some other smaller medical centers out here near Redmond as well, at least within a 15-minute drive for the most part. Parks, a whole lot of parks out here. Your biggest one's definitely going to be Marymore Park. You got Sammamish Valley up here. You've got Willows Run Golf Complex, which is cool. Have you ever shot there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Many times.
Good park. Sportsman's Park, Again, Marymore is where the velodrome and there's baseball fields, soccer fields, and off-leash dog park that is pretty epic.
They have outdoor concerts there in the summer too.
And outdoor concerts. I'm going to one here in August. Pretty excited.
Nice. Who are you seeing?
It's going to be Revolution.
Oh.
I'm going to go get my my Rasta on there. Hanging out with a bunch of friends. So yeah, and then a lot of little small parks around here. Fun times. Restaurants galore.
Oh yeah.
You have a favorite restaurant in Redmond, Tom?
Probably Tipsy Cow.
Tipsy Cow. That's a good one.
I like Tipsy Cow.
Matador. It's a great little.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Mexican there. We just had some tacos there the other night. Pretty great. They have axe throwing in Redmond.
When did they get that?
That was fun.
Oh.
Okay, a year or two ago, I think.
Yeah.
So what I found out about the axe throwing thing real quick to diverge, it's a diversification for escape room companies.
Oh.
So the escape rooms, turns out, pretty expensive to maintain. I found out from the guy that was showing us how to throw axes. There's very low overhead in axe throwing. And so they,
didn't realize that escape rooms were that expensive to maintain.
Yeah, he's like, people are always breaking stuff.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of overhead.
Axe throwing, they just have to replace the piece of wood that you keep throwing the axe at.
Yeah, exactly. So good times. Schools in Redmond, pretty highly rated schools. Again, Tom said Lake Washington School District, which is one of the top school districts in the state. And you can see here on greatschools.org, a lot of 8 out of 10s, 9 out of 10s.
And pretty much, I don't know the exact number, but I would say most of the schools in the Lake Washington School District have been rebuilt in the last 8 years, 8 to 10 years.
Yeah.
So some really nice schools down there.
Yeah. And you do tax wise in Redmond and just King County in general. A good fat chunk of your property taxes is going to go towards the school districts for all those rebuilds that they've been doing. Very high percentage of your taxes go to that. But yeah, that's Redmond. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We always love your feedback, whether or not you find this information even useful. So we hope that you do, and we hope you use it to inform yourself and make good buying and selling decisions out there in the real estate market. So take care, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.